Do you believe in the existence of extraterrestrials?
Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on where and when you're watching this broadcast. I'm Thomas Fessler, my friends, and this is Disclosure tonight. Happy Wednesday, December 11th, 2024. As the drone invasion continues on the East Coast, we've got a heck of a show set up for everybody tonight. If I can go ahead and get this. There we go. Got everything set up here. Welcome, everybody. Good to see you all tonight. What a great time and an opportunity to come out and hang out with friends and talk about this drone invasion that's continuing. Iran has been blamed early this morning. We even have inside information that came before that hit on Fox News indicating that this information, although the DOD is denying it, was actually presented in a bulletin internally at the New Jersey State Patrol. So, yes, they are in fear. We've got a clip on that one, my friends. Before we get to anywhere, I want to go ahead and quickly thank Shelly Montgomery for starting off our super chat tonight. Thank you very much. Shelly's saying, let me fix that one. Disclosure tonight is a place to be. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, folks. Absolutely. Thank you very much, Shelly. I appreciate that love and support. Before we get too far, I'm going to go ahead and thank welcome all the people who are in the chat. Got a huge list of people. Let's see who we have here so far. All right, where is that at? Let's hit the drums, folks. All right, let's see who the heck we have out there. Turn those sound effects down. Sorry, they're so loud. 24 Baby Bulls here, along with Anonymous Rex. Anton Ghost, AR-12 showed up, along with BB Smith, 66. Banana Booey's here, along with Billy Boo. Lap Happy, Brains, Bruce Dallas is here. Would you look at that? We also have Charlie Unidentified, Christian Kern, Cindy Fieldholler. Cosmo Fang, Corporal Abe, Craig's here. Would you look at that? We've got Destiny Rocks, Donna Fitzpatrick, DRVB is in the audience. What a huge audience showing up already. Wow. Up to 648 people watching the show. How about that? Edwards here along with Eli McGinnis, Firefly, Frank Einstein, Fire Guy is here along with Green Tea with Lemon. How about that? Lemon's pretty good. I'll take that, my friend. Gray here, Discovery's here, along with Invisible Tracker, JB, along with Jan, JCat, Jeff is around. Jeremy, John Mooner is here. Jerry just popped in. We've got LTL, The Confusion is here, along with Mark Green, Marcus and the Mandels. We've got Marvin Martian, Mia48, Mr. M Spin is around, along with Mr. Joey B. Welcome to the show, my friends. Nat Parker's here, along with Neil Carr, Neil Morgan as well, and we've got Nikki Niles, Nowhere Fast. Paul DeMond is here, along with Peggy and her South Florida friends. That would be Crockett and Tubbs and good old Steve. Got to put Steve in the billing. Welcome Rachel Osborne along with Robert Coford. Rough Reddy's here. Spelchino popped up along with Sam. We've got Kelly Brote and her piercing blue eyes. Good to see you, Kelly. We've got Sean's here. Shelly Montgomery, Steven, Stevie Cake, Super Unknown, the Terry W., the Chromosome Cowboy Thingamajig, along with Tom Denman, Tony T., Trent Allgood, Trevor Williams, Trey Waylife Boy, 91 is here. Wow, what a huge audience. V's here along with Wake Up to Yourself, Wesley Sissons, Yankee 58, Yellow Tommy Tanker, also known as Andy, and Zap Roanstrower. How about that? Talk about a full house. And it's just going to get better. I can't wait to get to the traffic. Almost 800 people here already. On that note, friends, it's that time of the night to go ahead and welcome our friends in the back. Let's go ahead and take a look who's there. Let's welcome in our first guest. We've got, bring up the list. Let's welcome in Corporal Abe. How's it going, Abe?
Pretty good. Happy to be here. Happy holidays, everybody. Excited for today's show. Let's go do it.
Great to see you, my friend. Thanks for being here. Also want to welcome Drew Matthew. Welcome, Drew, or Mayhew.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Thank you. Also, our next friend who's a regular here at Disclosure tonight is Hollywood Harold. How's it going, Harold?
Top of the evening to you, Thomas, and your gigantic audience, man. I can't wait to hear the new scoops tonight.
Thank you very much. Let's also welcome in James Matheson. How you doing, James?
Doing well.
Excellent. We also have our remote viewer coming from the upper Midwest. Let's welcome in our very own Laura Campbell. How's it going, Laura?
It's going really good, Thomas. Can't wait to hear the news tonight.
Nice. I swear your Christmas tree has a different look every single day. Or maybe because it's not plugged in right now.
Yeah, I have 3 of them right now.
Oh, there you go. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you, Laura. Appreciate that. Yep. Well, we look at that. We've got a man here from the country where all the users are silent. Let's welcome in Michael Sokoloff. How's it going, Michael? We'll turn our sights on the sky where we can go ahead and find Ms. Cussout. Sandra, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. Looking forward to tonight's show.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Well, look at this. All the way from down in Oregon, we have our dear friend Neil Carr. How's it going, Neil?
It's going really good, Thomas. Good to see you. And I'm happy because a friend of mine joined us tonight, too, Willow.
Oh, how nice. Wonderful, my friend. Also, let's now turn the world upside down and shake it like a snow globe and see who pops out of Australia. It's none other than, well, I could say it's none of your business, but it's actually Susan Ford. Welcome, Susan.
I'm sorry. Yeah, great. It's not a good idea to take a bite of peanut butter on toast and then try and talk.
I catch Mike in that more times than not. Although I have to question if it's actually food, but yeah.
It's the what's coming out of there is just amazing. What amazing. Nobody knows, do they?
No, they don't, do they? A lot of speculation, a lot of inside information, but a lot of denial from the DOD and our government.
Exactly.
Yeah, like we trust them anyway and believe what they're saying. Also, thank you very much, Denny, for being here. Let's turn our sights on. Who's here next? We got Rick Roberts. How's it going, Rick?
I'm doing good. I hope it'll be a good show tonight.
Thank you very much. Now, if you could take a look on the East Coast, who do we have out there? None other than Tia Loreno. How's it going, Tia?
Hey, Thomas. How you doing, man?
Doing good, my friend. Doing good. Great to have you here.
Thank you. Did you take a look at any of my messages that I sent over to you?
Yes, I have, but I've got so many things going on. I appreciate the insight, and I've got a lot of that stuff here pegged to go, Tia.
All right, good.
Thank you. Absolutely appreciate that. And last person, we've got someone new. Welcome, Willow. How you doing today?
Hi, how are y'all doing tonight? I'm doing pretty good.
Great to have you here as well. Thank you for coming out. Well, would you look at that? Before we wait a minute, we've got one more person here that I forgot to announce. Mike, Disclosure, how's it going?
Going well, Thomas, and we have a great show for our audience tonight. A lot of things to discuss and talk about. This is going to be a real interesting show for everyone on this drone invasion that we're dealing with currently.
I'm right there with you, Mike. It's one of those crazy things, to say the least, that this is still going on. We still don't have any answers, but before we get into our first piece, we do have one more super chat to address first. Coming in from Daryl regarding Iran, my 30-year-old veteran director of an FAA tech division said that on a conference call this morning, a higher-up said that they're Iranian, they're coming from a mothership. So there's that. So yeah, we've heard similar things, not necessarily about the mothership, which we're going to be covering here shortly, but coming from Iran, yes, or some kind of boat coming from Iran. They got them from China. That actually did come through the New Jersey State Patrol early this morning. So, Mocha, we'll have to see where all of that goes. On that note, let's go ahead and get going with our first video clip of today. Coming to us, it was the first one we got this morning when we found out about when we were talking about Iran and everything. Let's get this first video clip up here for our audience and get going, folks. We got a lot of stuff to cover here today. On that note, let me go ahead and bring up that video and let's kick it up. Here we go, folks.
We have objects in the sky that are the size of an SUV over any city, over any state. It's an invasion of our airspace. In focus now, Republican Congressman Jeff Van Drew of New Jersey, member of the House Judiciary Committee on the Hill right now. How do you address this at this point?
Well, here's the real deal, Harris. You know, I'm also on the Transportation Committee, on the Aviation Subcommittee, and I've gotten to know people. and from very high sources, very qualified sources, very responsible sources. I'm going to tell you the real deal. Iran launched a mothership probably about a month ago that contains these drones. That mothership is off, I'm going to tell you the deal. It's off the east coast of the United States of America. They've launched drones. It's everything that we can see or hear. And again, these are from high sources. I don't say this lightly. Now, you know, we know there was a probability it could have been our own government. We know it's not our own government because they would have let us know. It could have been some really glorified hobbyist or hobbyists that were doing something unbelievable. They don't have the technology. But let's pretend that's possible. The third possibility was somebody, an adversarial country, doing this. Know that Iran made a deal with China to purchase drones, motherships, and technology in order to go forward. The sources I have are good. They can't reveal who they are because they are speaking to me in confidentiality. These drones should be shot down. Whether it was some crazy hobbyist that we can't imagine or whether it is Iran, and I think it very possibly could be, they should be shot down. We are not getting the full deal, and the military is on alert with this.
Look, you've given us some pretty dire information just here, and I want to make sure that our viewers are digesting this. Iran has the capability to pull up along our eastern seaboard and launch drones the size of an SUV into the skies of several states, particularly New Jersey, where we know the incoming president has a large home. Also in the same county or nearby where some of these drones in New Jersey have been seen. That capability exists. It's possible some of those drones are here. So I have two questions. How are they fueling them? They have to land somewhere. Drones don't fly forever. Why don't they close down the airspace? Yes, it's inconvenient. Yes, it's the holidays. Shut it down. But if you start shooting things and you don't know how they're fueled, that's going to be mass explosions. This isn't like one spy balloon. Congressman, this is serious.
We've got to bring them down, and we've got to find a way to bring them down. I don't know exactly where they're landing. Obviously, I have some information, and again, this isn't just Jeff Van Drew. Oh, let's get on Harris Faulkner's show and say something outrageous. I'm telling you the straight deal from very high positioned individuals who are telling me this. And the bottom line is they're launching them. They are across the country. We don't even have anything like this. Our government and also certainly our hobbyists don't. So think about it. It's not only do I have the information, but it's also common sense. We've got to get them down. We've got to determine how they function, what they do, make sure that we can get them, and you're right, in a safe way. When I say shoot them down, get them down any way that you can, but right now they're probably extracting information. This is a clear and present danger to the United States and to our president-elect, and it's a serious business.
Well, and if one of them happens to fall, and they're fueled, that explosion could kill people. I have to let you go, Congressman, but I'm so grateful for your time today.
There we go, Mike. It's an interesting situation, to say the least. Here we have it where we've got people within our government coming out and saying, hey, it's Iran, but now we've got some video clips when we're going to see denial coming from the Department of Defense. I don't know. I'm going to believe individuals like this more than the DOD, well, just because they never gave us a straight answer about UFOs. All it is a bunch of lies majority of the time, and now they expect us just to turn around and take whatever they say?
Yeah, but the truth of the matter is, as you and I are both well aware of, they're not really saying very much, are they, Thomas? Right. That's the point. Typical of the DOD. They're giving everybody a big nothing burger.
Yeah. Absolutely. Now, speaking about that, there was a press conference from the DOD earlier today. We've got 3 clips to go ahead and listen to and reflect on. And let's go ahead and bring up the first one and get to it right away. You got a lot of stuff to cover, but just a couple things. We got a couple more super chats that came in. First one coming in from Andrew Hessing. Anyone who believes the Iranian Russia BS about these drones also believes in the tooth fairy. Okay, a little passionate there. The deep state is done. They can't lie to us anymore. Exactly. There's a bunch of lies, sounds like, coming out of Washington, D.C. I don't trust them. It sounds like Andrew doesn't trust them as well. And we did get one more super chat coming in from Donna Fitzpatrick. Thank you very much, Donna. What a crazy month it's been. Now let's get to our first video clip coming in from the Pentagon. We've got 3 of them to get through. Here we go, folks. Here's our first one. Again, this is from earlier today.
Or the work of an adversary. We're going to continue to monitor what is happening, but at no point were our installations threatened when this activity was occurring.
Can you rule out that these are American drones?
I'm sure I got this on.
Jen.
Sorry about that.
Sabrina, can you tell me what the Pentagon is doing to address this issue of drone sightings over New Jersey? It's near sensitive installations. The FBI is involved. What is the Pentagon doing?
Sure. So at this time, aware of those drone sightings that have been reported, at this time we have no evidence that these activities are coming from a foreign entity or the work of an adversary. We're going to continue to monitor what is happening, but at no point were our installations threatened when this activity was occurring.
Can you rule out that these are American drones or U.S. military drones?
These are not U.S. military drones.
Aha. They're being very specific, aren't they, Mike? They're calling and saying these are not U.S. military drones, not just saying these aren't drones from the U.S. government, which means they could be from the CIA, FBI, etc.
It could be any one of a number of loopholes that they like to leave open all the time, Thomas.
Exactly. They like to get very specific, just like, oh, yeah, we're not dealing with extraterrestrials here, rather than calling them out as a non-human intelligence. Let's continue.
Again, this is being investigated by local law enforcement. What our initial assessment here is that these are not drones or activities coming from a foreign entity or adversary.
Representative Jeff Van Drew, who is a Republican from New Jersey, was just on the air saying that Iran launched a mothership probably about a month ago that contains these drones, and that mothership is off the coast of the east coast of the United States. Is there any truth to that?
There is not any truth to that. There is no Iranian ship off the coast of the United States, and there's no so-called mothership launching drones towards the United States.
Interesting. Do we believe her? I don't think so on this one.
No.
If we can, Neil Carr had his hands up with a question about or a comment about this clip. Neil, go ahead.
Yeah, and it almost sounded like she was kind of trying to differentiate what we're seeing from our weird drones or technology. Like there was almost like an allusion to that. What do you think? Did it sound like that kind of?
It sounded to me like she's just trying to find some stuff to get off the topic and to move on to the next question. And the next clip I've got where she's saying some things, she gives that poker player smirk like there's something more than I know. Let's see if we can go ahead and find that clip and point it out when we get there. But before we get there, Syrup, you have your hand up.
Oh, I was just going to mention, I feel like the reporter kind of dropped the ball on her question. She had it right the first time, but then she had to add in military drones when she was asking, are they American drones? She should have just left it at that. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that insight. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways we could look at this. James, go ahead.
Yeah, mute button is on, James.
Oh, if it is NHI, then that may be how they know it's not a threat first. Second, I lost my thought.
That's all right. We can come back to you later, James. On that note, I've got the next clip. I know, Nunya, go ahead really quick before we get on to this next clip.
Yeah, you got to keep in mind, too, this is not the first time. This has happened numerous times over America. The exact same lights have been filmed, and that's going back 10 and more years. So, yeah, keep that in mind.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. We got one more super chat that came in from JB Ninja. How easy is it to make people believe a lie? How hard is it to undo that work again? From Mark Twain. Interesting quote, JB. I appreciate that. Let's get to this next video clip. Here we go, folks.
They'll continue to do so.
One other thing on Congressman Jeff Van Drew. He says that the drones in New Jersey should be shot down. Is there any reason not to bring down these drones to figure out what they are?
Well, that's a decision for local law enforcement. If a drone or any activity is a threat to military installations, they always have the right for self-defense, and they can engage to respond to any potential risks. But with some of the drone activity or activities that you're referring to, there was not a threat to any military installation, so they didn't feel the need to engage.
So no threat to our military installations. Again, the DoD is just focusing on what's going on in the skies over the military bases, not necessarily in the to the homeland itself. If we can, we have a viewer who just called in. Looked like she was on her backyard looking up Rebecca. Welcome, my friend.
Yeah, mute button is on, Rebecca.
Hi, sorry.
Hi.
I was just checking because I heard something and I wanted to make sure that it was an airplane. I'm from South Florida, and I just had I've been seeing these things since Friday night here in the greater Fort Lauderdale near the Fort Lauderdale airport. I'm in Plantation, Florida, to be exact. And I posted a live yesterday on Facebook, which got a lot of response because I posted it on a New Jersey group. And I got to tell you that what I saw with my eyes and captured with my camera is something that cannot be explained with just natural. It felt like this thing was. It was a beaming light that was pulsating. I saw it kind of morph in a way, and it sounds. I'm using crazy language into a craft.
Yeah.
And there was an orb above it, and it never left the big orb. And then it would appear again, so the craft would leave, and then another light, like maybe 5 minutes later, and it happened 5 times. I had all 20 minutes of live streaming.
Interesting. It's something we should try and catch up after the show and bring you on another time when we don't have so many things to cover. But thank you for stopping in today. I'd love to get your contact info and let's connect on this.
Okay, and I believe her name is Jan. Sent me.
Yeah, Jan, absolutely. I was talking with her on Twitter today. Thanks for coming today, Rebecca, and can't wait to bring you back when there's a little bit lull in what we've got going on here. But thanks for coming out tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And now coming to us in our third clip that we've got going tonight. Yes, we've got a third one here. Actually, get another super chat. NHI could have different factions as well with different agendas and intentions. Maybe Iran's suggestion came from a hostile NHI. Not quite sure on that one. And Randy Allen just pointed out, she's got a UFO necklace. How about that? But let's get to this third clip here coming from the DOD, the Department of Denial. Here we go, folks.
Thanks, appreciate it. Just want to go back to the comments by Congressman Van Drew. Has the Pentagon spoken to him, or has any plans to speak to him? And is there any sense from the Pentagon that there's a frenzy, a hysteria here that's overblown in terms of some of these sightings? And has the Pentagon assessed any of them to be confirmed to be drones as opposed to aircraft or something else?
Thanks, Howard, for the question. I mean, local law enforcement, FBI is conducting an investigation and looking into this. I mean, there's initial assessments are that these are drones and potentially, could be small airplanes. It could be a number of things that people are seeing and reporting. But again, that's, for the investigation to uncover. And so I just can't speak to that more. In terms of, a frenzy, I think it's completely right that people report these sightings and that there is an investigation into, what they are seeing. But I think what's also important to remember is that at no time were our military installations or our people ever under any threat. And if they were, of course, the base commanders have the ability to engage these drones if they do pose a threat.
Now, they're saying, Mike, that there's not a threat here in what's going on at this particular point. But remember, these drones have been seen over multiple reservoirs in the tri-state area, which supply a majority of the drinking water. And if these things are potentially from an adversary, there's a lot of people concerned on the local government levels that what is going on? Why is this stuff being allowed? We got the DOD saying, well, there's nothing going on over our bases. There's no threat. But they always want to dismiss everything and say it's not a threat when potentially it is.
Oh, exactly. That's what they do. But they haven't given us any proof as to why these objects are not potentially a threat. That's also not a true statement, and I'll tell you why. They're leaving out the fact that unknown craft are over restricted airspace at the very least, that's a threat to national security, don't you think, Thomas?
Well, yeah, this is a major threat to national security that's been going on. And it's just something that we have to take a look at and repeatedly question, why is the government trying to downplay the situation when there is a major threat that's currently happening? It just doesn't make sense.
No, none of this makes any sense whatsoever. And the fact that they're downplaying it and not providing any actual answers is only adding to the confusion and frustration.
Yeah. You know, and it also comes down to the fear. And yes, we do have it on our title card today for the show that, yes, the New Jersey State Patrol is in fear. And it's something we're about to cover right now and help expose thanks to Representative Bergen from the state of New Jersey. So now there was a Homeland Security briefing that went on this morning, and boy, he's standing out in the rain, and is he pissed, and he's got a right to it. But before we get there really quick, we have Drew Mayhew and Rick Roberts have their hands up. Drew?
Thank you. Everybody who is telling us it's not something or it is something is a part of the administration that's job is pretty much over in the next 30 days. They have nothing to lose for lying to us.
Yeah. True. They've been fired, haven't they?
And the only person who has told us anything about what it is, he's going to continue to be around.
Yeah, that's true. That is true, my friend. Yeah, it's an interesting situation. It seems like Washington, D.C. is out on break. Heck, even Director Wray, the director of the FBI, has put in his resignation. So even the head of the FBI, who could be focusing on this, is more focusing on getting out the door than taking care of the homeland. Rick Roberts, your hand is up, my friend.
So do we think that the government actually knows what these objects are, or they are just guessing to keep the public calm? And I'd love to see a survey. So do people think that the government knows what these are, or they don't know anything?
Good point, Rick. You know, let's go ahead and do this. We haven't done a survey in a couple nights. This is a great opportunity to go ahead and reach out to our audience. Let's go ahead and start a question and answer. Actually, no, let's go ahead and do a poll. Sorry about that. Let me get this up here. Start a poll. Let me bring this up right here, and let's bring it up for our audience to go ahead and see as I'm putting this together. Here we go. And the poll is going to be, does the U.S. government know where these drones are coming from? Know where and who these drones are coming from. Flat out yes or no. So let's go ahead and throw this up here. Hey, Google, set a timer for 1 minute and 30 seconds, please.
All right. 1 minute, 30 seconds.
All right, let's go ahead and do this. Let's do a rapid survey to our audience. You know, a lot of times our audience, I will go wherever they take us, my friends. Let's see where our audience is taking us. Look at this. Overwhelmingly, with 207 votes in already, 81% of our audience believes and feels that the United States government does know where and whom these drones are coming from, considering they have the ability to go ahead and detect an object from the surface this size out to beyond the moon, and they can track it in real time or past time. And to say that they don't, so they can see where they're coming from, what they're doing, where they're going back to say we don't have the ability to go ahead and track these things? Come on, folks. It's a cover-up, as Tim Burchett would say. Look at that. With only 37 seconds left to go on this vote and 365 votes in, I will have to go along with the audience. Yes, the government does know on this. Overwhelmingly, 83% of our audience right now. Yes, Mocha, you agree on that too. Good girl. With just 21 seconds left, this is your last chance to go ahead and vote. A lot of channels will go ahead, put up surveys, leave it there for the whole show. We do a rapid fire effect on here because you know what? This is the best way to do a spot survey. See where the audience goes, and wherever the audience goes, so do I. 84%, in which is 5 seconds left. 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. End of survey. Let me go ahead and end the poll. There we go, folks. All right. The audience has spoken. There we go. Final numbers for the poll. 84% of our audience with 419 votes in is saying yes. Overwhelmingly, 84% is saying yes. the government does know, which would indicate it's a cover-up. On that note, before we get back to this, we do have a couple super chats that came in the meantime before we get to this next clip, which is a doozy. From Ed, let's be real, the DOD and all the other agencies involved are trying to prevent a galactic war. Well, that could be potentially. Matthias says, Mick West still thinks it's a mass hysteria. Well, it's more than mass hysteria. If people were seeing things that weren't there, that's hysteria. But every single video that I've been seeing on Reddit, on Facebook, on Twitter, it's all the same stuff. So if it's a hysteria, how are all these people recording all of this stuff with their phones? My goodness. And the last super chat that came in, would you look at that, from Rauchu? Quick question. Why does Sabrina's side department look like, Department of Denial look like Mia? I'm not sure. Sure to put on glasses? I don't know, but great point. I will have to go ahead and look that up. On that note, let's go ahead and bring up this next story coming to us from News Nation, talking with Representative Bergen, who walked out of the Homeland Security. Boy, is he pissed. Presentation this morning. Here we go, folks. He's got some wise words to say. Take it to heart. Take it seriously. I'm with this guy. Here we go.
All right, so you're here today. You were just inside. You walked out. Why?
I walked out because it was worthless. It was the biggest amateur hour presentation I've ever seen about anything. Okay, it was ridiculous. There were no answers. Every question that was asked by a member of the state legislature, great questions, no answers, no resolution. They don't know where the drones are coming from. They don't know who's doing it. They don't know why they're doing it. But they say there's no credible threat. It was annoying to be there. I drove 2 hours to be here today. Spent an hour in there. I got to drive 2 hours back. The biggest waste of 5 hours in my entire life.
So why do you think they called this meeting?
I have no idea. Why would you call a meeting to tell people you don't know anything? I have no idea. And then when the legislators would ask questions, there were no answers. Here's the most frustrating part. The Colonel of State Police said that he had a helicopter of his flying above one of these drones, a 6-foot drone or something, I can't remember exactly what he said, and he felt unsafe for his helicopter, so he just let it go. Just let it go. Where'd it go?
It felt unsafe. He felt afraid. What the heck is that? This is the person who's in charge of the state police, and he's afraid of a drone in the air coming from one of their choppers that's following it?
Who knows? Didn't want to follow it because you didn't feel safe. Is that not the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard? I mean, honestly.
Do they have any idea where these drones are originating?
No, they don't. They would. Maybe if they followed that sucker when it landed, they would know, but they don't. This is a complete lack of effort, in my opinion, on trying to figure this out. This is not about ability. We have the technology, we have the people, we have the training, we have the resources, we have the money. It's just a lack of effort. I mean,
why?
I don't know. They should be saying, you know what they should have done today with productive use of our time, if they didn't know anything? Come in there and say, hey, legislators, we don't know anything, but if you get us these 10 things, do these 10 things for us, and the governor calls in this kind of action, we can figure it out. Will you help us? And then we would have helped them. But instead, it was just excuse after excuse, and we know nothing. It was infuriating, and I got up and I walked out.
You've been in the service, right?
Yeah, I was an attack helicopter pilot, Apache helicopter pilot in the Army, and I helped stand.
No wonder why he's pissed off. He's an Apache helicopter pilot, Mike.
Exactly, Thomas. He has every right to be pissed off.
Oh, yeah, but wait, there's more. There's more. Listen to what else this guy did.
Up the initial unmanned aircraft training battalion in the aviation sector of the Army. So I know a little bit about what I'm talking about, and these guys are not doing the job they need to do to figure out what's going on, and that is the Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, and the state police.
And they're saying no threat to Americans.
They're saying no threat, but how the hell do they know? They don't know anything. They don't know what it is. They don't know where it come from. They don't know nothing. When I walked in here today, I was actually pretty calm. I was excited to be here to find out a couple things. I thought they'd be like, hey, listen, it's FedEx, trying to figure it out. But instead, I got the most ridiculous amateur hour briefing I've ever sat through.
Wow, that's truly upsetting.
Yep.
This is the kind of news that I love. And if you're loving this coverage, my friends, do us a favor. Yes, it's that time of the night. I'm going to go ahead and ask, if you're having a good time, my friends, you haven't subscribed yet, do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Would you know, we're really close to getting to, what do you call it? Oh, we're really...
Over 12,000.
Yeah, uh-oh. We're close to getting 12,000 subs. How about that? And the only way we're going to get there is for people like you. Yes, that's right. If you can go ahead, you haven't subscribed yet, you want to go ahead and continue this kind of coverage, do us a favor. It's the only way we can help you help us. Hit that subscribe button. We'd love to have you here as a regular. And if you haven't given us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, we'll take one or the other. My goodness, would you look at that? We have 2,364 concurrent viewers right now and only 469 likes. What are we doing wrong? If you're having a good time, friends, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. And more importantly, again, I'd love to have you as a regular subscriber here on Disclosure tonight, so we can go ahead and keep on covering this, bringing this coverage to everybody. Wow, Mike, it's such a crazy piece. I like this guy, and the audience really resonated with him really well.
Because everything that he's saying is true. He's calling out the government's bullshit, and he's somebody who's an expert in this field and would know. So, yeah, it doesn't make any sense why they're not doing anything. And this is obviously an incursion and an invasion of unknown objects all across our country and over restricted airspace. So, yeah, the government's lack of a response or interest is, I think, an even bigger story than the drones themselves at this point, these aircraft.
Yeah. Would you look at this, Mike? We are only 24 subscribers away from hitting 12,000 subs. Wow, what a journey this has been, going ahead and covering this. Yeah, a lot of people have been here since the beginning and everything. We appreciate everyone for coming in, for helping that counter move forward. Thank you very much, audience. I am very humbled and thankful for all your love and support of everything we do here at Disclosure tonight. Now, let me get back to a way so I can bring up our next clip here. Now, one of the things we had, there was a person coming to us out of who was at the presentation from Homeland Security today, and we've got a deep dive I want to go through with our audience today. This is a point where I get to talk a lot, so let's get into it and have a good time, friends. Here we go. So coming from Dawn Fantasia, I believe she's from the state of New Jersey, of course, and a representative in the state. Let's get to it. All right. I just left the New Jersey State Police headquarters following the briefing of the New Jersey State Legislator relating to the unexplained drones in New Jersey, I might add. Governor Murphy was not present. My notes are organized following my take on the situation. 1, we know nothing, period. Just like we heard. To state that there is no known or credible threat is incredibly misleading. Flat out. And I informed all officials of that sentiment. 2, state authorities, including the New Jersey State Patrol, are shackled with what they are able to do. Any interception or takedown of any UAS is under the strict jurisdiction of the federal government. So even, Mike, if they wanted to go ahead and bring these things down, guess what? They can't. They're not allowed to.
Right.
3,
they need executive authority to fire on American U.S. soil against any unknown objects.
Yeah. Oh, Mike, look at this. We hit 12,000 subs. Thank you, audience. Appreciate that. Welcome to the family. It's wonderful to have you here. Let's get on to our next one. At this point, I believe military intervention is the only path forward. There will be no answers in the absence of proactivity, which means that, yes, they have been seeing these particular drones coming in out of the ocean night after night, going back out to the ocean. If they're over the ocean, Mike, why in the heck aren't they shooting them down?
Because the Coast Guard, that's their territory, and they have orders to not open fire on these objects from the government, from the executive branch.
Wow.
So the military has a leash on it for some reason. I don't know why. The government knows. We can only guess.
Yeah.
But they're preventing these objects from being taken down. And I agree with Assemblyman who is making these points. She's right. We need to take these things down. If we don't, it's going to continue.
Right.
And that's the problem.
And that was a briefing from Homeland Security. So wait a minute. Homeland Security reported on this last night when they've tracked over 45,000 incursions approximately to the United States over the last calendar year. And what is their record in bringing down these drones? 60 out of 45,000, folks. What a joke. And you know what? The people who are in charge of actually from the FBI, who are in charge of drone and anti-UAS technology, you know what their budget is, Mike? $500,000 out of a multi-billion-dollar budget. $500,000. No wonder why we're getting overtaken. No wonder why there's an invasion going on.
Right. Because there's no effective way for them to properly deal with this. Their hands are tied. The purse strings have been cut off. They don't have the money to operate with this. And we're being overrun with this invasion of unknown objects. It's disgusting, to say the least.
Yeah.
It's
and by the way, we got another super chat that just came in. Holy cow. This one coming in from Lord McCormick. Yes, we've noticed the hands. It's hard to miss. They are kind of big. Check out the White House spokesperson hands. Like, really? Check out her hands. The way she listens to the last question with her head down. Who does that? It's all smoke and mirrors. That's true, my friend. And I don't think he'll be having a job when the Biden administration moves on, my friends. Let's go on from here. Number 4, the U.S. Coast Guard seems like U.S. Coast Guard seems to be the most likely to intervene based on our briefing, but even that component was shrouded in mystery. Well, you know what, Mike? Is the U.S. Coast Guard at this particular point, do you think that they actually have the firepower necessary to bring this stuff down?
Oh, my God. The Coast Guard cutters, they do narcotics interdictions. They deal with hostile craft trying to come into the borders of the United States. Those cutters are armed with 50 caliber submachine guns. They could 50 caliber is the caliber that's used to take out aircraft. Yeah. It's an anti-aircraft round that was used during the World War II and all
Come
subsequent
on, no
wars.
surface-to-air missiles, no SAMs like in good old Command and Conquer? Come on, they got to have better stuff than just 50 caliber weapons.
All they need are 50 caliber weapons to dealing with drones or helicopters or Cessnas.
Oh,
it's more than enough to take them down.
Oh, that's right. We've taken and shipped all of our good arms to Ukraine. Oh my gosh, let's go ahead and move on really quick. Let's continue on. Here is her summary of the briefing. Overview of the issue. First sightings reported on 11 and 18. That's the first day we covered it here on Disclosure Tonight, with sightings occurring every night since then, from dusk until 11 p.m., going for 6 to 7 hours of flight time for these craft. The frequency reports range from 4 to 180 sightings per night. Now, some people have said there have been 50 to 60 of these things observed differently in an evening. Now, what are the descriptions? We're talking about large drones up to 6 feet in diameter, where they're actually bigger than that. A lot of these have actually been called out by experts as the size of an SUV, which is bigger than 6 feet in diameter. They operate in a coordinated manner. Lights are off at times, making them difficult to detect. So we've seen a lot of them with the lights on. Those may be the ones that are distracting us, Mike, to keep our focus on them, while there's other ones doing things in a more nefarious way.
That's true, Thomas. Very good point. We have no way of knowing because, again, we're not getting any direct information from the government. So as far as only the observers on the ground by the public is the only information we have to go on. There could be plenty of other nefarious activity going on with objects that we're not aware of.
Right.
Good point.
Absolutely. Also coming in here, it says they appear to avoid detection by traditional methods such as helicopters and radio frequencies. They're not identified as they're not hobbyist drones or related to Department of Homeland Security. Interesting that that's what they're saying. None of your business. You have your hand up, my dear lady.
Yeah, the helicopter pilot that felt unsafe. Now, he could have observed this craft and thought it's either carrying a payload or that he's unfamiliar with, or he may have recognized that it was not a drone.
Yeah. Well, these, it sounded like they were saying it was a drone, though, so that's the issue. They just didn't feel safe following along it. So are their hands cuffed? Were they told by a higher force of the government to back off? Time will tell on this.
That's what I'm saying, that they may have observed something on that craft that made him feel unsafe, uneasy.
Yeah. On that note, time will tell and potentially heads will roll for their jobs. Now, if the head of the New Jersey State Patrol is culpable for any kind of malfeasance or not doing his proper job to go ahead and protect the state, which is part of his job, well, then time to find someone else to replace that person. If we could, I want to go ahead and move on with this. Next, who are the agencies involved on this one? FBI has been designated as a lead agency for investigations. The New Jersey State Patrol coordinates with the FBI on follow-ups. Now the Office of Homeland Security and Preparedness of OHSP provides training and situational awareness. Well, why isn't the department, I guess that's Office of Homeland Security, but shouldn't they be doing something more than they have been? Now we also have the U.S. Coast Guard is involved in determining steps under their jurisdiction. Of course, details were not discussed. So why is it the U.S. Coast Guard can't even define what they can or can't do? It sounds like a completely disconnected operation on this, where the left hand doesn't know what's going on than the right, Mike.
No, you're right about that. It also sounds to me like they are either kept in the dark or keeping us in the dark. They're not releasing any information that we know is readily available to them.
Yeah.
They have the resources. The Department of Defense is given nearly $1 trillion a year for funding. And the census systems and what they have at their disposal, you mean to tell me that we're being overrun and invaded by unknown objects this entire time, and they have no clue about any of it? No, that's the lie.
When has the United States military been so afraid, so timid to go ahead and actually defend their own bases? Is this just something of the Biden administration, or is this something that's been festering around in our military for way too long? Something needs to change.
No, you and I have talked about this on the show a lot, and it has a lot to do with how the government itself operates. It comes directly from the executive branch, both good or bad. And right now, the current administration is refusing to acknowledge or be proactive about what we're dealing with this ongoing invasion.
Yeah.
So that's where it lies, at the heart of the executive branch. You and I are well aware of that.
Absolutely, Mike. Let's continue on. But before we do get into federal involvement, Willow, you have your hand up, my dear lady.
Yes, I wanted to bring up that there's a great probability from the studies that I've done that these could be our reverse engineered craft that are doing test runs because of the other craft that are coming from the ocean, the more orb-like and tic-tac shaped craft. So what I've learned, if there's a lot of like nuts and bolts and seams, that's our stuff.
Yeah. And everything that we're seeing so far on this, Willow, looks like it's our stuff. None of this is showing any of the 5 observables, including the craft we have video footage of that we've played for the last couple nights that were it crashed, and you could see there was even parts of the fire that showed that there was a lithium battery fire. And if it was coming from a non-human intelligence, I don't think that potentially they'd be using lithium batteries. But thanks for that insight.
I believe that is a reverse engineered craft in response to that, possibly.
Now, one thing that we've heard, just to go ahead and be clear on that, we understand the technology that we've gotten from crash retrievals, but we lack the material science to go ahead and actually reproduce it. Now, if we saw stuff that had some phenomenal flight characteristics. No, I've got videos of stuff going on over Malta where you have a craft coming in at 14,000 miles dive bombing a jet fighter from the United Kingdom. So there are things out there that are truly anomalous. These kind of look like they could be something from China and Iran combined. Who knows? But thank you for that insight. All right, let's go ahead and get back to this, talking about federal involvement. All right, let's get this across. Let's see if I can do this one. All right, from federal involvement, the FAA made night flights legal in 2023 with regards to drones, I believe, but it requires operators to maintain a line of sight, which is not being observed in these cases. And just to say this again, these are not off-the-shelf drones. These are not consumer drones. We're talking about potential aircraft that could be costing hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars a piece. This is not something that's coming from our average Joe citizen. This is like coming from a supervillain like a Lex Luthor style, or potentially of a foreign government. Either way, something is going on. So there's also a lack of federal legislation on this. There are existing bills on drone regulation, which remain stalled in Congress because we have a House and Senate that are divided. But I think come around January 20th, when we've got both in alignment, and if there's some movement from the executive branch to get this taken care of, if Congress can cover it, I'm sure there will be a declaration from the president to go ahead and handle this. Let's get on to our next piece, talking about detection challenges that was talked about in that Homeland Security briefing today. Now, the New Jersey State Patrol deployed helicopters over Raritan Bay but could not detect drones, even with infrared cameras. Current radio frequencies do not pick up the drone signals, which potentially means these things are hardened, means that they're not putting out any kind of signals outside of it. And more importantly, they're not getting remotely controlled. They're controlled possibly by someone who's put together a really good AI system. Now, Colonel Callahan, who is the head of the State Patrol in New Jersey, he expressed concerns about potential danger leading to a halt in helicopter deployments. Means that they're afraid of what's going on, and they don't want to put any more helicopters up there until they can figure out what's going on. Isn't the police supposed to protect, Mike, and not run in fear?
Oh, absolutely, Thomas. Running in fear is something that can get you fired. And it's something that's frowned upon because you have a duty sworn to protect the public, even if the cost is your own life. So I don't understand what the hell's going on in New Jersey, to be honest with you.
Oh, I know. It's an absolute joke, Mike, to say the least. Now, we did get a super chat coming in from JB Ninja, who says, why isn't the United States Air Force invited to the party? I'd have to agree with that 100%, Mike. 100%.
Well, the Air Force has been conspicuously absent in this conversation for a long time now, Thomas. There's nothing new with that either.
Yeah.
You know them. There's no threat. That's their statement. And nothing to see here, folks. Move along.
Yeah. Now, believe it or not, we have a message coming in from Mr. Catfish 2100. You know, he has been here since our very first live stream, Mike. An avid viewer who's been here all along. And yes, that's a UFO sighting he has there in his picture. But let me go ahead and bring this up and say, I saw one of them here in Far Rockaway, New York. The city choppers tried chasing the drone and it flew away fast. There are UFOs around here as well. Could be aliens. Yeah.
It could be. We don't know because we don't have enough information yet, one way or the other, unfortunately.
Yeah. And there could be craft of unknown origin up there besides the drones. These drones could be from us. They could be up there to just try and distract the public. There's a lot of options it could be. It could be China itself. It could be Iran, funded by another country like China, like it was brought out today. And you've been going down that road for a while, Mike. It could also be coming from oh gosh, it could be the United States with the United States out there going ahead and trying to dissuade us from that alien invasion that could be going on. Not saying that it is. It could be also the United States trying to put this stuff out there to try and get us into World War III with China and Russia. Or more importantly, it could be the United States government out there on a reconnaissance mission trying to sniff out some kind of nefarious activity going on out there that could include biological, chemical, and or nuclear. You never know what they're looking for because these things are big enough to where they could have some pretty intense sensors on there.
It's also been reported by people that have observed these objects that state when a light is shined directly at them, they go dark.
Yeah.
So how do these objects are aware of how can they see activity going on around them from the ground?
Oh, there's a 5-cent sensor you can get from Taiwan or China that can detect light like that, Mike. It's not that expensive.
To make the entire operation of that craft to go dark?
Yeah, of course. If there's light that comes on the craft and the sensor picks it up, that's an external light over a certain amount, it could easily go ahead and react to the sensors on board and shut everything down like a toy would.
Yeah, it's just very strange to see an object for doing that.
Well, clearly there's a a way in these systems to go ahead and to help protect their mission, whatever it is. And if they need to go dark, they'll go dark.
And they have. So, yeah, it's part of whatever procedures they're using for whatever it is that they're doing here in the United States. We still don't know what that is.
Oh, you better believe it. Where is our leadership? Completely silenced. Thank you very much, Ed. I couldn't agree with you on that better. No, I've got a bunch of other videos, and this document goes on forever. Let's go on to our last piece. What are our key concerns before we jump to our next video? Unknown origins. Authorities do not know or claim to not know where these drones take off or land. Next, capabilities. Drones maintain flight for extended periods of time for 6 to 7 hours and over distances of 15 miles, raising questions about their technology and event. Well, Tia, you're looking great tonight, my dear lady. What say you?
Thank you. What do you think about maybe our military maybe trying the steel dome? Or am I saying that right?
Yeah, I got you. So what if this is an operation from our military to go ahead and test out some equipment and figure it out for defense and everything like that?
Like a steel dome, considering all of the, threats that we've had. And I heard today, actually, from Sean Ryan, that there is 1,000 known terrorists right now that are in the United States. Yeah. So I also was going to throw this out there. What if it's them? What if it's these people, terrorists in the United States with these drones?
Okay, these are not coming out of people's garages. This is a major operation where you've got 50 to 60 of these night are being launched from somewhere out on the ocean. Those are going out, flying for 5 to 6 hours at a time. They've got to get each one of those craft up and launch them one after the other. When the operation is done in the evenings, they have to go back, they have to land them, they have to put them away, they have to maintain them, they have to charge them or refuel them, whatever it is, and get them ready to be turned around for the following day. So this is nothing that's going to be from a ragtag group of people on the shores of the United States to get it together. This and those drones had to go through some kind of a manufacturing line. This isn't something people are just strapping together again in their garages. These are significant in size, and from the looks of them, they are clearly now here I've got an image of one I can go ahead and bring up again, and they've got the look of like a jetliner to a degree, but they're only the size of an SUV. So whatever we're dealing with here clearly is not just something that's getting thrown together, but this is something that's pretty intense. Mike, your thoughts? Or go ahead, Tia.
Just one more. I don't know if you've seen the George Knapp special, the part, hi Harold, where that thing came out of the water when the people that were in the middle of the ocean, like they actually caught it on camera. Did you see that?
Oh, from the George Knapp stuff that was on Netflix?
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily his stuff. It was somebody else's, but he got it. Yeah,
I saw that one, and I watched one of those episodes. I couldn't get through it. It was just too scripted for me, though, Tia. But thank you for bringing that up, though. I appreciate that. All right, let's go ahead and get to our next video clip. As we've got New Jersey State Senator provides updates on the mysterious drones that have been going on. Let's go ahead and bring up this next video for our audience. Here we go, everybody. All right, and I've got probably 15 to 20 of these to get through, so here we go, folks.
All right, thank you, my friend, Nate Voy. Let's go to Douglas Steinhardt. He is the New Jersey Republican State Senator. Senator, good to have you. What is going on here, Senator? Have you learned anything?
Yeah, well, I think the big takeaway for me for today is that the Biden administration is proving just how weak and feckless it really is. There was no credible, substantive intelligence forthcoming today, despite the fact that we all had requested this meeting, which to me leads us to either two conclusions: either they're American assets and the Biden administration is keeping that from us, or they're foreign adversary assets and we're failing in our public safety responsibilities to protect Americans and do something to defend ourselves. So either way, January 20th can't come fast enough, and President Trump can't take over soon enough. I just think it highlights a multitude of failures on every level.
All right, what if he takes over and these drones are still coming and no one seems to know what the heck they're up to? What do you do then?
Well, look, the other thing that was clear from today is that there aren't enough resources and assets being put into figuring out how to address UAS, how to address drone activity, not just here but everywhere. And I think, to think that this day wasn't coming and not having been prepared for it, again, it highlights some failures, leadership failures on a large scale. So, look, we know what's going on. We know what's happening. We don't know why it's happening, but I do think that, moving forward, we need to put a lot more resources into addressing this. And unfortunately, those resources need to come from Washington. We've had a long time to prepare for today, and that's not happening.
What's scarier still, Senator, to your point, is no one seems to know. We don't get any sort of acknowledgement one way or the other from the FBI, from national security officials, military types. So it makes you wonder then who would be doing this, and if they have the gall or the chutzpah, whatever you want to call it, to keep flying and keep appearing. It's like someone's playing with us or just humoring us. What do you think?
Well, that's clear. And what was also clear from today is our own rules are hampering our ability to do much about it. The state police, and I'll give Colonel Callahan and his troopers credit, they're doing their best to try to address these things. They've tried to engage them. When they engage them, they just turn their lights off and disappear, but they're not authorized to engage any
Where
other
do they
than
go?
to
Has
just
anyone
follow.
ever tracked them, Senator? I mean, let's say you're curious after a few nights, because some of these I've spotted around my home. I'm in New Jersey. And then I begin to wonder, all right, well, someone must have been able to sort of track them where they go after they're seen, because they don't stay out very, very long. And sometimes there are a good number of them that are up there for a while, and then they presumably disappear. But they're not going at the speed of light, so they'd be easy to track, wouldn't they?
So we're being told several things. First, we're being told that they're up there for as many as 6 or 7 hours. That's number one. Number two, we're being told that they don't have a detecting system or a GPS or some other tracking system that our technology is capable of tracking. And that may be in part because they're pre-programmed. They're being pre-programmed with a flight pattern, so they're not sending a signal back and forth. That's complicating or compounding our efforts. But again, back to what I said a couple of minutes ago, these are new thoughts. These are new ideas. This is stuff that we should have known and been prepared for. I send some blame, but I'm sending that blame to Washington, and these are things that we should have been aware of and been prepared for a long time ago.
All right. So to your point, you're trying to find out what's going on. No one's telling you. We're told that the FBI is in the dark about this. The Governor Murphy is in the dark about this. That the New York governor and the mayor, they're in the dark about this. Yet these are spotted daily. We do know enough in some cases, not all, Senator. The lights are turned off on these things when they go away. In other words, someone has control of some sort to sort of shut the lights off, shut anything that could visually sight them, and off they go. It is a little weird, and there's a separate issue where we're hearing that some of these were coming from the ocean. One trailed a Coast Guard vessel at the Jersey shore. We got confirmation from a number of other Coast Guard personnel in the area that they did see this. So that begs the issue that this might be a foreign player, but there's no way of knowing, and in that vacuum, people get pretty frightened.
So I can comment on that a little bit. So yes, the information that we were getting as early as the weekend leading into today is that they felt that they were coming from offshore. That sort of has been the consensus from early on. And the fact that today was also mentioned that the Coast Guard has been engaged. I'm a little unclear as to whether naval assets had been engaged, but clearly Coast Guard had been engaged. And when we asked about that, we were told that information was, the extent of the engagement was classified. So it does sound like there's some focus of activity offshore. And that there are resources being spent there. But look, as I said earlier, we just need to do a better job. We have a duty to the folks that we all represent, and we need to ask hard questions and be demanding answers.
All right. Thank you for taking the time. You're right, Senator. It is a mystery. Hopefully someone will be able to solve it and explain it. All right.
Mike,
thank you, my friend.
The question is, do you think they're going to be able to get to an answer quickly, or do you it seems like the cover-up is going to continue and there's no end in sight to it?
No, Thomas, the fact that they're now using the old classification terms to try to cover this up even more about any activity that they were aware of, Of course, this is going to continue, and they're not going to give us any answers, and they're not dealing with this proactively. So whoever is behind this and whatever these objects are, we're going to unfortunately be forced to have to contend with this until maybe the new administration comes in and takes office.
Yeah.
Could be.
Absolutely. Before we get on to our next video clip of a New Jersey lawmaker who calls for these drones to be shot down, Harold, you have your hand up.
I'm just wondering if anybody's looked into these large agricultural drones they use for farming and stuff. There's some pretty big ones there.
Yeah, those look like traditional quadcopters, except they maybe have 6 propellers on them to a degree. So, yeah, that is a potential of what it could be. But clearly, based on the morphology of what we've seen so far, it doesn't match, Harold.
Right. I'm just wondering if somebody looked into it closer, but I will later. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely. We please do, my friend. On that note, let's go ahead and get up our next video clip here, coming from Fox again, talking about New Jersey lawmakers want these things to be shot down, and I have to agree with them on this one. Here we go, folks.
Well, guys, it's been nearly a month since large unidentified drones started being spotted all across New Jersey. But even after all this time, we have zero answers about where they're coming from and who's flying them. The United States spends billions of your money on military and intelligence programs every year. So tell me, why do the FBI and the White House have zero clue where these drones are coming from?
Is public safety at risk? Are we concerned that there are nefarious intentions that could cause either national security or a public safety incident that would put Americans at risk?
There's nothing that is known that would lead me to say that, but we just don't know, and that's the concerning part.
You're telling me we don't know what the hell these drones are in New Jersey are? Is that correct?
That's right.
It's crazy. I mean, that's crazy. That's madness that we don't know what these drones are.
Has the federal government ruled out that these are controlled by foreign entities? Yeah. And do you know if they're conducting surveillance over these areas?
I cannot make any kind of predictions or comments about that specifically from here.
I mean, and the New Jersey governor, Phil Murphy, says he doesn't know either.
What can you tell us? What is going on, and why is it taking so long to come up with an explanation?
Yeah, it's a good. I don't blame people for being frustrated. It's really frustrating that we don't have more answers as to where they're coming from and why they're doing what they're doing.
Rebecca, break everything down for us, and who needs to be the watchdog for this right now?
Well, this is incredibly frustrating because we have known that this country's very vulnerable to spy balloons, to drones, to missile strikes for a long, long time. So we've been beating this drum. Congress has been beating this drum for a long time. Fundamentally, I think that the problem here is that nobody at the very top of government is saying you are in charge. It's your job to fix this, because you have Northern Command, that's the military component, and then you have Department of Homeland Security, and then you have the FAA, which does all of the regulations that has to make decisions about who needs to do what. And of course,
pausing this really quick, if they're bringing up Northern Command and from the United States government, they did put off a tweet earlier today stating, let me get this on here, documents. So let's bring this up here. Northcom says, statement regarding the reports of drone activity in New Jersey. Northcom conducted here. Let's get this into it. United States Northern Command. Statement regarding reports of drone activity in New Jersey. Peterson Space Force Base, Colorado. We are aware of and monitoring reports of unauthorized drone flights in the vicinity of military installations in New Jersey to include Picatinny Arsenal and the Naval Weapons Station Earl. And we refer you to those installations for information on any efforts they may be conducting to ensure the safety and security of their personnel and operations. Now, local law enforcement and the FBI are currently investigating. U.S. Northern Command conducted a deliberate analysis of the events in consultation with other military organizations and intelligence interagency partners. And at this time, we have not been requested to assist with these events. Why? Why aren't they being requested to assist with these events? It feels like this should be an all-hands effort to figure this out. If so, we've got an invasion going on the East Coast, and people saying, "Well, we haven't been asked." Really? Come on, folks. I don't believe this shit. If these incidents require additional DoD assistance, the Secretary of the Military Department or relevant DoD component head concerned can coordinate with U.S. Northcom for advanced, enhanced, or increased response. U.S. Northcom, in conjunction with our interagency partners, will continue to assess further information and is prepared to respond when asked, or should the situation escalate to threaten any DoD installations. What about going ahead and threatening the general public's water supplies and what's going on? Now, we do have one of our friends from United Kingdom. Andy, do you have a comment on this?
Sorry, not on this. I've literally just jumped in. So I'll put my hand up in a sec if you want.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Let's go ahead and continue on with this one here, and we'll get an update from Andy and our friends in the United Kingdom, because I hear things are getting hot there again. So let's move this across and get back to this story in progress.
The Northern Command believes that they have the authority to protect military bases, but what about critical infrastructure? What about the rest of the American people who are looking up at these massive UASs? You know, I can't speak directly with knowledge about this particular incident, but I would speculate from an informed perspective that actually the government probably does have an idea about who is doing this. But if they say who is doing it, that will require them to have a response. And they are not prepared with a response, which is why we continue to get the answer that we don't know. But they seem too big to be hobbyists. They do seem to be coming from a foreign power.
Right. Okay. So you mentioned Congress. And Harris, last hour you had Congressman Jeff Van Drew on, which revealed this about the drones. Let's watch.
Iran launched a mothership probably about a month ago that contains these drones. That mothership is off, I'm going to tell you the deal. It's off the east coast of the United States of America. They've launched drones, is everything that we can see or hear. And again, these are from high sources. I don't say this lightly.
From high sources, Emily. I mean, I was silent listening to him. He's followed up with the time to act on this information is now before threat escalates any further. These drones are intentionally flying into uncontrolled airspaces. We should have already taken action by imposing flight restrictions to regain our control. We're behind other countries on our drone technology.
Well, wait a minute. We already have flight restrictions. No drones are allowed to fly higher than 400 feet, so they're already in violation of drone restrictions. So why is the United States government again so crippled to go ahead and actually address this situation?
So on and so forth. This is what I learned from Van Drew and what I'm learning from military experts that I'm reaching out to just since, you know, this story broke a little while ago. I am curious at this point why they have not shut down. Where is Pete Buttigieg? Where is the transportation secretary? By the way, Van Drew sits on the Committee of Transportation in the House, also Subcommittee of Aviation. These things come together. That's why he's so vocal. So he and others, along with mayors in New Jersey, and you can see them from New York and other states at this point, each one about the size of an SUV, a drone. Okay, so they're all supposed to get together about 45 minutes ago. Governor Phil Murphy was supposed to be at the heart of this. What are we going to do? He did not show. He was a no-show today. That video we ran was from Monday. This started a month ago. We need to know what's in the skies above. Shut down the skies. I know it's a pain. I know it's Newark International and New York airspace and everything else. If one of those things hits the ground, either directed to or drops, and it has fuel or battery capability that would fly something that big. It weighs thousands of pounds in that case, or its payload is fuel. It will explode. You could kill people.
But more importantly, it's getting down to the temperature in the 20s every night. So if there is battery technology that's behind these, that technology, I mean, whatever they have, their time in the sky is going to be delayed every single night, for that matter, or reduced. If you can, Andy, you have your hand up, my friend.
Yeah, actually, I was going to throw back to this comment about it being the Iranians. Now, if this is a mothership that's offshore, if it's in international waters, not a lot you can do about it, but you can certainly put an exclusion zone around. Now, there are systems that don't use gunpowder and lead that can bring drones down, and I sent an article, a clip of a news article from the UK that came out today. So if these things are coming in from a mothership, as in a ship, a boat, there are ways of stopping these things from operating. So, are they coming? They're coming in off the sea, but is it from a ship or wherever? So, yeah.
And I just got a comment from someone in the chat. Where did that go? Telling me to do my research. Look at new flying taxis. I mean EVTOLs. Well, yeah, we have those technologies, but they don't have the battery technology to go ahead and remain in flight for 5 to 6 hours at a time. They've got a very limited flight time, and plus, they don't look like a jet. They look like a futuristic chopper, for that matter, right, Andy?
Yep.
Exactly. Thank you for bringing that up, Andy. Let's get back and finish off this story before we got other stuff to cover. Here we go.
Too many of them to take out in one location right now. Van Drew says we should be shooting them out of the sky. I pushed back. You got to get them back into the ocean. I mean, this is unbelievable.
And let's show, Kaylee, we can pop up just how extensive this problem is. We're going to put up a map and show you. Look at that. This is not one drone. People think drones might be small. As Harris says, it's the size of an SUV. A lot of people are saying, I'm going to shoot it down from my backyard. This problem is so much beyond. The risks here are so acute. Where is our commander-in-chief?
Well, let me give you the generous interpretation and not so generous. The generous interpretation is this is a special access program. That would be a highly classified program where we test our own drones. And it would be so secretive that only maybe a half dozen to a dozen United States officials are read in. That could be. And the White House would not tell you about that. We don't deserve to know that information. It's secret for a reason. That could be the case. But number two, do I have that kind of faith in the administration when, to your point, Rebecca, a Chinese spy balloon surveilled the United States? It was noticed on January of 28th of 2023 by the Pentagon. The White House wasn't read in until January 31st, a full 3 days later, and as the Chinese were collecting information across the United States. If this were the Trump administration, I'd have confidence, yeah, this is a special access program. Now, we'll ask questions because of the track record of 4 years.
Yeah, that's the reality, that until January 20th, likely our enemies are trying to do all they can now while they know they can get away with it.
I put this all together and say this. I wrote a book on fear, and I think this kind of messaging scares people. We don't know. We don't have any answers. We can't tell you. If it was top secret, you could say this is top secret. We can't tell you. People would have confidence. What we feel is there's nobody at the switch. And by the way, this is connected all across to our other issues, our borders. People are leaking in across our borders. People have drones offshore. There were both spy balloons. We have a sense now in the United States that we're not safe. Luckily, a new marshal coming to town.
Harris, I wonder, to your point, as you broke the news, Governor Phil Murphy wasn't in attendance. Was he on the phone with the president, I hope? That would be the only acceptable excuse.
And where is the missing Iranian mothership carrying drones that left, correlating with the time that Van Drew said that those things arrived in our airspace? Like, how do you lose a missing Iranian mothership loaded with drones? Like, it's a lot. I hope it's what you say.
But who knows?
I hope it's a big governmental secret that won't harm us.
Who knows? Bring you the news on this as it develops. Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campani.
And now in our next story, coming to us from talking about a New Jersey drone pilot weighs in on the mysterious sightings from his perspective and his expert knowledge in this area. Let's see what he has to say. And by the way, there are reportings of drones that have been put up in flight to go ahead and examine these, and they go from a full battery charge to no battery charge almost instantaneously when they get close. So something is at play here, folks. Let's play our next clip coming to us from New Jersey.
Drones should be red and green. That means they are connected to the controller.
Like everyone else in New Jersey, drone pilot Mike Anella is trying to decipher the recent mysterious sightings.
This, solid green. That's highly unusual.
He's been using commercial drones from his own business, New Jersey Drone Shots, to take video of the unidentified craft. Some turn out to be just regular planes flying into Newark.
We could tell by the tail and the logo it was a United Airlines flight.
But others he can't explain and says they're not ordinary drones.
I wouldn't even think how to transport them. They're huge. They're the size of cars. The light pattern is very unusual, and the way that they're flying so low is not understanding.
He also doesn't understand how they managed to stay airborne for so long, especially now.
It takes a lot of more power to operate a drone in the cold. I can get about 45 minutes in the air just hovering with my drone. These drones are up in the air for more than 2 hours.
Perhaps the most puzzling part is why we still don't have answers. Anela says the skies are closely regulated, and flying over a sensitive space like Picatinny Arsenal would attract attention fast.
If I took one of my drones over one of those areas, I would have law enforcement on me in probably 10 seconds.
Until we know what's going on, he's cautious about where he flies and hopes it doesn't impact his business.
We want answers. Because effectively, I want to make sure I can feel safe to fly.
You know, Mike, I think, he just kicked it out of the park on that one, potentially. He's talking about feeling safe to fly. And, there is a safety issue going on here. Again, our government wants to act like there's nothing happening, but really there is, and needs to be addressed.
This is a air safety issue. This is a national security issue. This is also terrifying the public.
Yeah.
So if you are running the government and responsible for your citizens, you have a duty and a responsibility to make sure that they feel safe. But we're not getting that from the government or the executive branch right now. Nothing. No information, no calm words, no explanation about any of this. And unfortunately, people are afraid, and they have every right to be. So we're seeing no action from this administration. It's almost like this administration is currently non-existent. I don't know why, maybe because they're out of a job soon, but it's inexcusable. I could tell you that, Thomas.
Yeah.
There's no excuse for this.
It's one of those things we just look at and keep on shaking our head and saying, what the hell is our government doing? And more importantly, why aren't they doing more? Now, we do have some people with their hands up in the back. Let's go through this before we get into our next video clip, where we've got a drone special, if you want to call it, a drone SME, subject matter expert, coming forward and talking more on Fox News with regards to this. Yeah, Fox is doing a lot of coverage because we've got an invasion going on here, folks. Why this isn't getting covered in more of the mainstream media? Well, it is, but it's still not enough. Let's get to this. Pooter, you have your hand up, my friend.
The mute button is on, Pooter.
Hi, Thomas. I actually have a theory about the drones. I think that What?
Go ahead, Pooter.
I think the U.S. is sending drones to cover up these other drones that we've seen in the sky. There is different types of drones, like the ones with the 3 lights, or the ones with the 6 blades, like Thomas brought up. So I think that the U.S. is actually covering up a different type of
So we're flooding the skies with our craft to go ahead and keep people focusing on these things when there's other stuff we should be paying attention to, right?
Yeah,
that's a potential scenario, sir. Yes, I appreciate that info. Thank you for bringing that up. Now, if I could go to Steve next, go ahead. Steve Neely.
Hey, mute button.
We'll move next on to Corporal Abe. Abe, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to push back on the Fox reporter.
Hello. Hi, can you hear me?
I just wanted to
Hold on, Steve.
Found it.
Fuck.
Start again. Corporal Abe, we lost you there. You got really quiet.
Yeah, but I just wanted to push back on the Fox reporter in the red dress who said that there's a missing Iranian mothership / carrier. Iran has 2 drone carriers that were converted from cargo ships. There are open source intelligent applications that show and highlight, they track these ships' movement. So does the United States military. Actually, they track their movements 24/7, 365.
Yeah.
And at this very moment, both of those carriers, those drone carriers, are off the coast of Iran.
Yeah, great point. Yeah, they should be able to track this stuff. They should know what's going on. They should be tracking the items that are coming from international waters into our homeland. That's what Homeland Security is about, isn't it, Abe?
Yes, you're absolutely right, sir.
And they're failing horribly at this point.
Yeah, as a veteran, I'm a little upset, pretty upset.
Absolutely. Now to get back to, I think someone else had their hands up a minute ago, and
yeah, it was Steve. But Steve, I'm just going to say before you take the mute button off on your microphone.
He already left. He left.
Yeah, he had the YouTube playing in the background. And we were getting
that's where it was
feedback.
coming from. Thanks for taking care of that, Mike. Yeah, if you're joining the back, you want to talk, you have to shut down YouTube and just listen to the back. If you listen to both, we get a horrible echo going on. But thanks for taking care of that, Mike.
My pleasure.
All right, moving back to the stories at hand. Yes, we've got a subject matter expert on drones coming and giving a great talk on Fox News earlier this afternoon. Let's go ahead and play this clip and see where it takes us. Here we go. Sorry, Rick, but we're going to play this video clip first. Here we go.
He's a former special operations intelligence analyst and a drone expert. So my dad reached out to me yesterday because we go to Jersey on the weekends, Ocean County, and he said, "What is going on?" I said, "I'm going to ask Brett in the morning." So here, Brett, tell my dad, what do you think is going on?
Oh my God, it's difficult to say. It's all speculation at this point. Even the U.S. military research facility at Picatinny Arsenal just admitted that the drones are not theirs. So that's added to the confusion even more. And I've said it before, I've tested a ton of drones over U.S. government installations in partnership with the military before. And that type of secrecy is just not normal for how we would conduct business. Even if we don't explain to the locals what exactly we're doing and testing drones and why, there would still be a lot of coordination of those flights at all levels of law enforcement. And if anything got out of hand, for example, public hysteria like this operation, we would shut it down immediately. But it's not stopping, and now we're even hearing more reports of drones flying over Philly now. But frankly, Dana, I don't even care at this point if it's some big U.S. government conspiracy or if this is in fact adversarial drones flying. I'm more concerned about the lack of transparency on behalf of our federal government and their inability to even want to alleviate the public's concerns at all. All they're saying is it's being investigated. That's unacceptable. And these local government officials, they need to stop saying there is no known threat unless they really know that. It's a disservice to the American people who are rightfully concerned because...
But I just want to point this out really quick. Based on what we've been hearing so far, local officials are saying they're a threat. But the problem is our federal government and other higher agencies are denying there's a threat. I'm going to go with the local representatives saying there is a threat versus the disinformation we're getting out of our federal government. Here we go.
I know firsthand the damage that drones can do. Even if the drones fly over a site for just a few minutes, do a bunch of flips and disappear in the middle of the night, the damage is already done. Most people don't know how much intelligence data can be collected with sensors that are attached to these drones just even in a short flight. But what's even more concerning is I'm realizing more and more that our law enforcement doesn't even know the rules of engagement for monitoring and downing rogue drones over the U.S. The average official couldn't tell you who's even in charge of that. There's too many competing airspaces and different agency equities. And the FAA, frankly, they're in charge of the confusion. It's their issue. They've hamstrung our law enforcement agencies, our U.S. drone and counter drone community for years. I mean, look at what just happened recently with the Secret Service, for instance. They didn't even employ basic counter drone technology prior to the Trump assassination attempt, and that's one reason our president took a bullet. And if the Secret Service doesn't have the capability, you think New Jersey Police Department, State Patrol is going to have the proper systems in place to monitor this? So it's just we got to change the whole industry. Our infrastructure is not set up to be able to counter these emerging threats that we face now.
Excellent answer, Brett.
I'm sure that made my dad feel any better.
Probably not. Brett, you know about the story several months ago about Chinese operations flying over our military bases in certain parts of the country, especially on the East Coast, and then that word got out. I'm not saying this is what that is. Give a listen. Chad Pergram asking House Speaker Mike Johnson about something else. Watch.
We are concerned about drones and all these new technologies and what it might mean for national security and the safety of the American citizens. So I'm looking forward to the outcome of that hearing, and if we don't get the necessary answers there, we'll dig deeper and go to the classified level.
Any thought these might be dark programs?
I hope not. I don't believe so, but there's a lot of investigation going on, so we'll find out.
So go ahead and define a dark program and think about what's happening in Ukraine and think about what some people, even Elon Musk, talking about the future for warfare, should be unmanned and should be done by way of drone. It might be a pretty simple explanation that they're in the development phase and they're doing it in places like New Jersey.
It could be. I mean, dark programs essentially are, what we call red selling, where literally we're just testing our own infrastructure, our own national security. We might be flying drones over a military base to see how they may be able to stop that internally. But overseas, this is not a difficult thing to do. I can take a drone right now, fly it over to China, drop a bunch of drones from it, extend the range. You know, there's a lot of different communications like Starlink that's out there to be able to do this. This, to the drone community, this is very easy to do. This is not difficult. They don't have to be sitting in New Jersey flying these drones if we're speculating that this is a foreign adversary. We are even seeing the Ukrainians right now put drones on boats, launch them from boats in the ocean. And that's very interesting to me because that it extends the distance, and we're seeing people are talking about some of these sightings being right there on the coast. But overall, frankly, this is not an unsolvable problem. These drones are not undetectable. This is easy to figure out what's going on if the proper experts were brought in. And that's what upsets me the most. We have the technology to monitor, track, defeat this right now. Every single drone has a unique fingerprint. It's got a unique signature. It transmits some sort of signal, and those signals tell a story. And there are a ton of countermeasures out there put in place that we could use. You could layer tactical, strategic counter drone radar systems. You can jam the frequencies of the drone. You can hijack a drone midair, take control of it. We have the ability even for drones to strike other drones now midair. We have directed energy systems that can fry a drone in the air. But we've got these archaic laws here in the US where the FAA is constantly concerned about these systems affecting commercial airline communications. And I get that, but that's a very old school mentality. What's happening overseas right now is these foreign countries are light years ahead of US drone technology, and we're set back 10 years behind China and Russia. So it's nothing for China or Russia to send a drone over our airspace very quickly and essentially poke holes in our national security infrastructure. And I think that's what we're seeing. We're seeing our military bases, our sensitive sites being probed. There's a gap right now in the administration, right, where there's this transition. So it's a perfect time to do something. And we just got to get a handle on it. And our infrastructure has got to have a complete overhaul to put money into this. And the FBI just said they only have $500,000 budget for counter drone technology. That's ridiculous. It costs like $200,000-$300,000 for one counter drone man portable system, and you need multiple systems.
Well, we'll see what comes of these two hearings today and what Nate has to report.
Yeah, thank you, Brett.
Yeah, terrific.
Hey, everyone, I'm Emily
interesting
Campagno.
Conversation regarding this, Mike, and it just goes on, and there's not a lot of answers to be given at this point. A lot of speculation as to what could potentially be behind this, but it doesn't look like it's anything positive for that matter.
No, because potentially this is one big threat that we're being exposed to, and we don't have any type of a response coming from our government to try to deal with it, or at least inform the public on what's going on. And that is only going to create chaos. Yeah. It's going to lead to people panicking. Yeah. It's going to have a really bad outcome because it seems like there's nobody at home at the White House right now currently.
Now, even though the weather is bad going on in New Jersey right now, there are still sightings going on tonight, Mike. I've got, I think, a video clip from earlier this evening in the New Jersey area. I just want to go ahead and clean all these videos down that I can... Christ, what have I played? All right, let's go ahead and bring this up for this next one as we're talking. Yeah, it's an interesting situation, but it looks like we're seeing the same thing happening again night after night.
Oh, we have. This has been going on over a month now in the tri-state area here in New York, and it doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon. Then again, because there's no response coming from the U.S. government, why would it stop, Thomas?
Right. And these just aren't
regular. If I was the adversary, I would keep doing it.
Yeah.
The only way that's going to stop is if somebody stops them, and that hasn't happened yet.
Yes, exactly. If we can. Rick Roberts, you have your hand up, my friend.
Yeah, I wanted to just get some feedback from the audience. Do they think this is something that's our technology, like they mentioned, black technology, or do we think this is adversarial technology, or a mixture of both?
Yeah. Good.
Survey?
Yeah, good point. Good point. 1 second. I'm just trying to bring the next thing up as I can have something up here as a look at as we're talking about. So before we get to that one piece of a next survey coming up, to ask our audience, well, the majority of our audience in our last survey, let me go ahead and I lost that one. I'll bring that up in a second here, and we'll get the next one up. Just before we get to that, Rick, let me bring up this next video clip here for our audience. It's something we've been showing the last couple nights. What we've got here is, while there's been denials from the government in the state of New Jersey as to whether any of these craft have come down, actually just from the actual governor of New Jersey going ahead and denying it for this matter. Yeah, there couple nights ago, there was a crash that did happen. It did look, it was called out that, yeah, something did come down. Let me play the 2 audio clips on this.
Smoke and fire. We're on the highway, and out in the distance, we see all these lights going off.
And then we've got the next audio clip.
Field's on fire. There was like a craft that crashed out of the sky. It was crazy. Field's on fire. There was like a craft that crashed out of the sky.
So there you go. Things did happen. Things are coming down. And it's something we just have to go ahead and understand. Yes, there is something in the sky. Some of these things, like anything, what comes up sometimes, Mike, must come down.
Oh, absolutely, Thomas. But, here's the thing. They're now throwing around again the word classified. That tells me that as far as if there was a recovery in South Jersey the other night, like we are talking about now and we covered the other day, they're never going to admit it. And if you question them on it, push comes to shove, they'll tell you that's classified. They can't talk about it.
Right.
So we're never going to get a straight answer out of them. That's the problem. Now, we know that the military was actively operating where that fire and that crash had allegedly taken place. We also had residents living there on the ground taking those videos and commenting on all of the activity that was going on by the New Jersey State Police and the military. So there's a big joint base over there in Fort Dix and McGuire Air Force Base.
Right.
So they're not going to admit if they did in fact bring down or recover one of these craft, these objects.
Right. True, my friend.
And I hesitate to refer to them as drones because the truth of the matter is we really don't know what they are at this point.
Right. They look like something that's ours. Now, I did start another survey here, Mike, to go ahead and see where our audience is going to go ahead and take us, and that's where generally we will go ahead and flow for that matter. Let me find, where is that? All right, we got a survey going on. Hey, Google, set a timer for 1 minute and 30 seconds. Let's see where our
1 minute, 30 seconds.
Let's see where our audience takes us, Mike. Currently, we're saying, I think the drones are from, not me, but what do you guys think? Are they from the United States? Are they from China? Are they from Iran? Or are they from the ET, non-human intelligence, meaning they're the UFO friends? Let's see where this comes in right now. Would you look at this with 2,000 people voting? We've got about 10%? Yeah, 10%. 10% of our audience right now reporting. Let's see where we can take this to. Let's see if we can get this up to 400 or so people. Let's go ahead and vote on this. Again, I think the drones are from United States, China, Iran, or ET-NHI UFO. Mike, what do you say? Convince the audience. What would you vote? Don't convince, but just what would you vote?
My vote, as far as, is it the United States? Is it a foreign adversary? Or is it NHI?
Just pick.
Foreign adversary.
All right, there you go. Andy W., pick one. Corporal Abe, pick one. Greg O'Brien, pick one.
Not everything.
China, you're saying it's China. Oh, well, 3 seconds left to go. Kind of quiet in the back today, but you know what? Either way, our audience overwhelmingly...
UFOs are multiple nation states.
Okay, you say UFOs are multiple nation states, so there you go. So coming out of this, to go ahead and finish this off, let me go ahead and take a screenshot, and I'm going to go ahead and end this poll. And our audience has spoken. Let's go ahead and do this and come up with our final answer on this one. Let me stop the poll for that one. Steven, you've had your hand up, my friend. Go ahead.
Hey, Thomas. Sorry about before. I couldn't find the unmute button. Very passionate about the subject. Been following UAPs or UFOs for about 50 years now.
Yeah.
And I've had 3 encounters in my life, and I'm pretty convinced.
We can get the personal encounters. We want to kind of keep us focused on the topic tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, our own technology has advanced so much in the last 100 years. We just learned how to fly in the turn of the century. Now we're going to different stars. We're on the moon. We're everywhere. Look at future technology, where it's taking us. Okay, there's so many stars out there with exoplanets capable of sustaining life. It's naive of us to think that we're alone out here. Clearly, this is extraterrestrial life, and they're trying to break us in. They're trying to introduce us to the idea that in the future, we're going to be able to do this.
Yeah, true. Good thoughts, Steve. I appreciate your input on that.
Yeah, and I think that, they definitely are mimicking. I think that's a big part of their strategy. I think anytime that, if you're in their shoes, okay, if you were from another planet and you had to introduce yourself to humans, if you felt they were ready, imagine the challenge involved in doing that, because we're so narrow-minded about technology and the future. We can't see, all of us can't see that yet.
Yeah.
So it's hard for them to get the message across to us. That's all.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I have to stop back
And
another
also,
time. Great feedback and deep time. And you beg
one
for a
other
deeper
small
conversation,
detail.
but I do have a bunch of,
One other small important detail here, very important. Okay. If we think about intelligent life, okay, all intelligent life is about supporting life, right? We're all about creating life and making it work for us. Any other intelligent civilization is also going to be pro-life, okay? I don't think we have to worry about any dangers. I think they are all pro-life.
Well, yeah, potentially, and sometimes it may be their own. But again, we'll please hang out after the show. We can talk then. It'd be great to have you back when we're not really just focusing on this stuff. But I appreciate
really appreciate everyone's input, and especially your bringing this up for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Last person with their hands up, John, go ahead. Actually, not John. No, Kenneth. I'm sorry. John wants to get in.
Oh, okay. Yes, I think Steve had it right, but only in part, and that is that there is also the dark forces that, incidentally, we cannot see their craft. We haven't been looking for them. They're not obvious out there, and
Well,
I think
they move in ways you can't see with the human eye. They have engineered their technology to make sure we can't even notice they're around. So are they being obvious? No. Are they hiding from us? Yes. Is it on purpose? I'd say 100%, because if you can't see it in visual light, or you can't see it because it's moving so fast, it's beyond the frame rate of what the human eye can go ahead and detect, or you can't see it unless you've got a camera that can see infrared down to -60 degrees Fahrenheit, which is a very specialized technology. Yeah, you're not going to see a majority of this stuff. So
where I think Steve is correct is that all of the non-human appearances out there are on our side, and they're trying to draw our attention to the skies because there are enemies out there that we would not otherwise be looking for, and we need to look at what is hard to see, not what is lit up. I think that's their message to us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that, sir. Syrup, my friend, go ahead.
Yeah, Thomas, question. What is it that these drones are doing that is causing everyone to say that we've fallen behind on the drone technology?
Time in the sky. Well, this is based on what do we understand? Well, first of all, where does all the drone off the shelf, top of the line, best drone technology that we see today come from, Syrup?
Here, right?
No, it doesn't come from the United States. It comes from China, 100%. So it's China that's bringing this stuff forward. And if they're saying we've fallen behind in drone technology, well, there's a dang good chance we have. Russia's getting all their a lot of their drone technology allegedly from China. There's other areas that, there's great stuff that's being built in Ukraine to go against the other stuff, counter drone technologies. It's amazing what's going on, but come on, if we're only funding our FBI, who's in charge of protecting the homeland potentially, and we've only given our technology for dealing with drone technologies $500 million a year, it really sounds like something's been asleep behind the wheel, and we've been throwing our money at the big defense contractors versus at innovating on small fleet technology. I mean, when was that? About a month ago or so that Elon Musk came and said that the F-35 is a waste of money. We created this high-end, what do you call it, bird that flies that has to do all of these different things. He said the future is clearly in drone technology, and look what we have going over our shores, and look what we can't not defend ourselves from.
Yeah, no, good points. Do you think we have a chance to catch back up?
Innovation is key. Brain power is there. Supposedly we've got some of the best colleges in the world. So let's put our colleges and graduates together to start building the technology we need. You know, there's no reason why we can't do it here. Right?
For sure. Yeah, no, I agree. Good point.
Yeah. So,
well,
Mike,
considering there's a point, Thomas, that China has been focusing primarily on training a lot of their students to come to the United States, to go to our colleges and universities and learn to be engineers and learn engineering. And then they go back to their country in China. So when you make a point that, yeah, we could do that here, well, we already are doing it here. The problem is we're doing it for Chinese citizens, not our own.
Yeah.
So you're right.
Yeah. Are you surprised by the survey?
Listen, I'm surprised. The audience seems to have varied opinions about what's going on.
Depending on the day of the week and what's going on, our audience flips around and everything. It's been a great show so far. Wow. And I do have some more stories to go ahead and bring up. I've just been going through the feed of what I've got here, a bunch of different things. Let's see what I can find. The next one. Oh, gosh. Let's go to one of the most recent ones I may or may not have played. Mounting frustration. There we go. This is coming to us from the... So let's skip over CBS. I don't trust them. All right, we've got another one here. New Jersey congressman berates the Pentagon. Lack of information. That's what I want to hear about. Let's go blame the Pentagon some more. And the best place we're going to get that these days apparently is Fox, because they're covering this like freaking dogs. Holy cow. Let's play this next clip. Here we go, folks.
Andrew, who is calling on the government to shoot down those drones. Congressman, Deputy Pentagon Press Secretary Sabrina Singh directly refuted your claims today. She essentially called you a liar about the drones that they're connected to Iran. Listen to this, and I'm going to get your reaction.
Sightings that have been reported. At this time, we have no evidence that these activities are coming from a foreign entity.
Andrew, who is a Republican from New Jersey, was just on the air saying that Iran launched a mothership probably about a month ago that contains these drones, and that mothership is off the coast of the east coast of the United States. Is there any truth to that?
There is not any truth to that. There is no Iranian ship off the coast of the United States, and there's no so-called mothership launching drones towards the United States.
Congressman, your reaction to her?
Well, I don't know where they're going then. Let's really think this through real quickly. We know that, I hope we know, that it's not the United States government that is putting these drones out there. Either that or they're lying to us. We know it's not a backyard hobbyist because they don't have the ability to do this. They have no kind of drone that's for sale that's this large, and no company in America is producing drones like this, nor would they put them out. So we know all the things that it's not. They tell us nothing. They've given us no information. I had highly placed individuals who were whistleblowers that came to me that are involved with this issue, that have high security clearance but don't want to use their name, and I don't blame them because they don't want to get in trouble and they don't want to affect their jobs. But the bottom line is they have real concerns. It may be Iran, it may be China, but here's the deal. Iran does have a mothership. It is now not at this point in Iran where it usually is at the port, and it's somewhere else. And here's the other deal. We know that these drones are flying in and out of the ocean, so they're leaving, and the Coast Guard has reported this. They are going into international waters. They're leaving the mainland United States and going into those waters. They're not pontoons where they're landing. They've got to be landing on some kind of a ship or something. most of all, I can't believe that these whistleblowers would lie to me. And you know what, Megan, I hope that they're wrong. But if they're wrong, then tell us what it is. The bottom line is our government is saying we don't know what it is, we don't know where they come from, we know nothing about them. We won't take one down to figure out what it is so that we can analyze it. But don't worry. You know, it's like going into a doctor's office and you've got a severe pain in your chest and you're doubled over. The doctor says, I have no idea what the hell you've got, but don't worry, everything's going to be okay. There's something wrong here.
You're calling them whistleblowers, so I'm just wondering, are they asserting that there is a cover-up going on here, or that things are known that should be shared but aren't being shared? I mean, why do you call them whistleblowers?
I call them whistleblowers because they are saying what they believe to be the truth. They've come to me. They don't want to be anonymous because they are concerned about their futures and their jobs. And they have told us information that we didn't have. We do know that China and Iran have been dealing with drone technology, and that China has been selling Iran drone technology, and that they do have it. And we do know, obviously, that Iran hates us. So I am saying that this is something that really has to be evaluated. It very well may be true. If it isn't, I'm a happy guy. But they came to me, they told the truth, and these are not some backyard, you know, people at a barbecue who are looking up in the sky and seeing drones and inventing things. These are highly placed, reputable individuals with high security clearance. These are real people, and that is enough to make me have concern. And it should also concern people that we have no idea what's going on. And by the way, it should concern people that we are 10 years behind China in our technology. That's a fact. I spoke about it in committee today, that we have holes in our radar system where we can't even analyze these drones and record them as well as that we should, and we're not analyzing our airspace properly either. We've got a lot to do, man. We've got to start paying attention to the real issues in this country, which is keeping us safe.
Right. Drones were swarming Langley Air Force Base for 17 days late last year. Big mystery to the Pentagon. Earlier October last year, 5 drones were swarming a nuclear site in Nevada. Where is the Pentagon, Congressman, other than doing nothing? Jeff Andrew, Congressman, we got to go, but please come back. Keep us posted.
Man, she sounded freaking strong on that one. But okay, I have to go ahead and bring this up. We're all calling these drones, and there's people calling it out saying, why are we calling these drones? Well, we're seeing objects that have man-made characteristics, meaning we can hear that there's propellers whirring, we can see that there's lights flashing, we can see that it has the shape and morphology of something, that it has wings, it has a tail, and it has something that's giving it propulsion. Human kind of stuff. We've seen when it's crashed, that we've seen battery fires that are equivalent, that are saying, hey, there's some kind of lithium on board these things, and it's, you know, they're sizable, they're the size of an SUV. Now, on that front, I want to show you the difference between a drone and a UFO. Sorry for the small size on this. Maybe I can bring up a little bit bigger. Okay, this is in a Malta Air Show back in 2021. This little plane right here, if you can kind of see it, that is one of the red arrows. They're in aeronautics. They're like the Blue Angels from the U.S. Air Force. Now, this little thing here I'm going to point out. These craft are moving 500 miles an hour. What I have up here is a craft that came out from the very far distance, came zooming up, and with me going ahead and clicking on it one by one, here we go. This craft is moving at about anywhere between 11 and 13 or 14,000 miles per hour, comes down within 70 feet of the front of this plane, levels off, and shoots off out of the camera. This was caught by someone from a television show production crew who was filming Love Island at that time. Like the producer or someone who's like one of the, anyway, they're there, they caught this. They didn't intend to catch it, but what this shows us, this is an advanced technology. This is something that's moving so fast, you can't see it with the human eye. You could barely probably see this on a video going at 60 frames a second. This is recorded at 120 frames a second, and that's the only reason we have this kind of detail. That's a UFO. That's something that is exhibiting any of the 5 observables that Lou Elizondo talked about. Yeah, I've got other videos of this craft hovering in place over a building, and as the camera moves, it's lock and step over the buildings. I've got another one at the start of this where there's 4 of these craft that go across the top of the scene, and then the one that shoots off in the distance actually comes back. So these are UFOs. We cover UFOs here on Disclosure tonight. I love to talk about it, but I'm very discerning in what I see and what I want to go ahead and call it as a UFO. Not that I'm a debunker or anything. No, because I've seen stuff. I've been involved with this since I was a very young kid. So you just have to kind of take it for what it's worth and go for the truth. Right, Mike? Does that make sense where I'm coming from? A drone versus an actual UAP?
It does, because you can't confuse the two. And if you do that, then people will not know exactly what to believe and what not to believe. So, you hit the nail on the head. These craft, call them what you will, that are going on with this invasion we're going through in this country, are actual nut and bolt objects. They're
and
not
by the way,
phenomenon.
Mike, this is the only video footage that's out there that actually shows a UAP acting in a quote-unquote threatening manner with a military aircraft.
Right.
Now, they're not hitting it. I think what they're doing in this video is they're coming in and they're basically saying, oh, this is an air show where you're going ahead and showing off your stuff. Well, look how much better we are. It's a show of force.
It is. And also, you can make similar points about these objects that we're encountering with this invasion here in this country right now. Because when people ask you,
that's a different show of force.
How do you know it's not UAP? Well, the simple answer is it's not exhibiting the characteristics that actual UAP do.
Bingo.
They're not moving at 15,000 miles an hour in an instant.
They're not remaining stationary in winds of law. These have signs of propulsion. These other craft have no visual signs of propulsion. It'd be interesting to see these drones observed with thermal. That would be really interesting. We haven't seen that yet.
Because IR cameras are very expensive for the civilians, and they're not readily available like they would be for the military. So, there's a difference between UAP and whatever these mysterious objects are in our country right now.
Yeah.
And people need to make sure that they're on the right path, right track to know what we're talking about and not confuse it. So, you pointed out the right thing. You made the right points, Thomas.
Yeah.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Right. And I know, and there's a lot of people who are passionate that we have a non-human intelligence here on the planet, and I'll agree. But sometimes if it walks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, and it floats like a duck, sometimes it's a duck. It could be something disguised as a duck. But I have a feeling there are some nefarious human forces, whether it's our own, from our own country or abroad, that's doing it. But they are nefarious. These craft are going and flying and hovering over our water supplies. They're not going into and out of the water supplies like a UFO would be, a transmedium craft. They're going, and who knows what they're doing there. Again, they're big enough where they could carry any kind of a payload, whether we like it or not. I don't think they'd be out there, dropping daisies for that matter, but could they be dropping some kind of a toxic or radioactive or chemical or biological substance out of these as they're flying around, as they're going over the water? Absolutely. Now, nothing's been detected. These are possible scenarios of what it could be, but it's the reality we're all dealing with right now.
Right. Plus, there have been reports in South Jersey by the public that were there that had witnessed some things coming out of these objects, these craft. There was something spraying out of the bottom of it. And so we don't know what that was or what it's doing or what the purpose is, but something is going on. And listen, I could also tell our audience that whatever these craft are doing, they're not here simply to take pictures.
No.
Right. So that's the reality of this.
And again, it's a sizable operation. It starts every night by the when it gets dark outside for a period of time, they all come flying in 5 to 6 hours, and they all fly back out. And the question is, why isn't our government doing anything to keep them from flying in?
Right.
Something just doesn't feel right here. It doesn't smell right. It doesn't taste right.
No, it doesn't make any sense. None of it, which is why you and I are investigating this and calling it out. But listen, this is going to continue. The public is getting more and more frustrated. Our local government officials, as we can hear, are more and more frustrated by this.
Yeah.
So, this is going to get worse, I think, before it gets better.
Yeah. And if and when the ET presence on this planet comes out of the ocean, decides to go ahead and say hello, they're not going to have craft. They're not going to have craft like this.
No, they're not. And when they do that, we'll be the first to cover it.
Yeah, I mean, it's been stated in the past, the U.S. government has high-definition footage of a football field-sized triangle craft surfacing next to an aircraft carrier and then shooting up in the sky. I'm still waiting for that stuff to come out. Eventually, hopefully it will. But this is the kind of, there's things going on, but it's just have to keep each one in its particular piece. Yeah. We do have a couple people here with their hands up to finish out the night. James Matheson, go ahead.
Yeah. First, they're saying it's not us. It's not China or any other adversary. They're saying it's not a hobbyist. The one thing they're saying it's not is the one thing that they wouldn't shoot down. And if it were that thing, maybe they're using more advanced technology than we have to look for something, and they're just pretending to be our craft. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got where you're coming from, but also they said they didn't say it was from the U.S. government. They said it's not from the U.S. military, which if I remember correctly, the CIA, FBI, and all these other intelligence agencies are not part of, or the Department of Energy for that matter, are not part of the military or the DOD. They're separate.
Well, also, NHI craft don't have to demonstrate and one of the 5 observables to be an NHI craft.
No, true.
They could be just putting around, just saying.
I gotcha. But did you appreciate the footage that I did bring out?
Oh, yeah,
because that's for me, that's non-human intelligence. When it's demonstrating stuff that's beyond our capabilities.
They appear out of nowhere coming from the ocean. We can't track them. And sometimes they have been observed like zipping away from helicopters and
now,
whatnot.
Do I believe that our government, actually we had a survey at the start of the show, our government doesn't know where this stuff is coming from? Oh, heck yeah, they know where it is.
I think it should be left as an open question. And my point about probabilities is it's very easy to slip into the illusion of validity.
Yeah.
All right, I'm done.
No, great points, James. And it's just a matter of trying to figure out which side or the other, where it's coming from. Keep on looking at the facts, keep on adding up the facts, and just keep on not getting into one particular boat. I'm kind of off maybe a little bit more in the, it's something from humans, not necessarily more for ET, but our audience thinks it's more for ET, so I respect that. And I appreciate your point of view. Cosmo, you have your hand up, my friend.
Hey, Thomas. Thanks. Appreciate the show. I'll be brief since we're wrapping up. Just a comment on the poll from earlier. I think it's tandem with foreign adversaries and NHI, just because of the vast amount of numbers that are coming in, and we're not able to trace them back from their point of origin. So that's highly suspicious. Plus of the fields that have been emanating from them on certain videos. Just, they have advanced capabilities, so I would say that it's reverse engineered. Second point, real quick, I just want to make you aware that Cuomo interviewed Anna Polina Luna, and she's part of the oversight committee about the drones tonight. If you don't have time to get to that clip, that's fine. We can do it another show. But
we got tomorrow, my friend.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Cosmo. Appreciate that. Kron, go ahead.
Yes, just a quick question about the crash. Now, every crash, when the fire department is deployed, has a call that's associated to it. Has anyone investigated if there was any calls on that time of day to know exactly if a crash was reported?
Yeah, probably.
Well, I can answer that because Roni Burnett, who's a friend of ours and a really excellent UAP researcher on his own, in the Amazon in South America. He's been following and reporting on this drone invasion that we've been dealing with here in this country. And when the other day, when this crash had taken place and we saw videos from the public showing it, he received an alert from the authorities within the state of New Jersey stating that there was a crashed vehicle.
Yeah.
And they were in the midst of recovery operations. So that came out as an announcement, but they never gave us any additional information after that as to what they recovered.
That was the one thing that happened where we had the helicopter data to go ahead and go with it. This is something that happened the next day, Mike, and was reported by a citizen on YouTube. So, but yeah, there's a way to go ahead and track down. I guess I need to go ahead and I've put out a message already to the channel owner who actually first released the video out. I haven't heard anything back yet, but as soon as we can, we'll report on it. If we can. Let's go to Alex. Go ahead.
The mute button is on, Alex.
I guess not.
Well, that's quite all right.
Oh, what a great show, Mike. What a great opportunity to hang out with friends. It's reached that time of the night again. Yes, work starts early in the morning. Alex, go ahead.
Hey, Thomas, you there?
Yeah, we got you.
All right.
Go ahead, Alex.
How you doing, guys? I love the show. I love what you guys are doing. I just wanted to make a small comment about the clip from the air show with the small black UAP.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are you guys familiar with the man, Dr. Robert Shipe?
I've seen a lot of footage of air shows and insects at air shows.
Well, I would encourage you guys to check his stuff out. He's on YouTube. He has hundreds of those videos of those little dragon UAPs.
Oh, okay, yeah, I've already taught. Yeah, every single one of his videos that I've seen that I've gone through, it's been an insect.
Really?
Yes, 100%. Every single video that I've seen of his, including one time he had something where it was something going. He said it was a UFO going really close to the front of a fighter jet. No, it was actually trash in the cockpit as the plane was rolling and doing some things. I've got a 10-foot 4K screen that I review this footage on, so it makes it easy to get to the details when you're sitting about 5 feet away from it, 6 feet away from it, maybe a little bit more, but not much. So yeah, this is different. This is actually an object that's tumbling in place on the footage that I have where it's stationary. It's literally tumbling in place as the camera gets moved up and down. When this footage actually starts, there's actually one already on screen, and it goes across the screen. Then we get 1 or 2 or 3 more that go across, and one of them kind of goes back off in the distance, and then that's the one that comes back and dive bombs literally this jet fighter.
Okay. Well, I mean, I saw a guy who was enhancing some of those photos where they looked really convincing.
Right. When you enhance things, you're using AI. And as soon as you start enhancing anything other than contrast or brightness or any kind of coloring or lighting that's going on, Moose, stop that. You're going to run into a situation where you're creating something based on AI systems and you're not actually looking at what's there. I could get this video and I could go ahead and improve it, but no, I want to keep the sanctity of the overall. Here, if I bring up the video and I just show it here really quick, I know I'm late. Here we go. Let's just get back to this again, document 3. If I bring out the whole video, yeah, the jet fighter is way off in the distance. And this craft is a little dot that's flying across the screen. And the only reason we can go ahead and see it is because he recorded the jets. Now, if I go ahead a little bit further back, you can see there's a maneuver where the 2 jets are going and going by each other. So right after they perform that maneuver, the little UFO comes down and performs its part of the maneuver. It wanted to be in part of it. So yeah.
I saw it.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff. That's
awesome. That's why we're here. But right now we're focusing on drones, but when it comes time for the other stuff, yeah, we do cover the other side of the coin. But we're discerning in what we look at, and there's a lot of easy ways to go ahead and create fakes. We try to point that out and educate our audience.
Hey, I'm with you.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed the show. So
awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming out tonight, and thanks for that great question. Now, if I can, I want to go ahead and thank all of our wonderful viewers who gave us super chats tonight. Who am I talking about? Let me go ahead and bring that up and take a look. Who gave us some super chats tonight? Let's go ahead and thank Jay and Josh Show Official. Thank you very much. My opinion on human intelligence. Thank you, sir. Ed, appreciate the super chat. Donna Fitzpatrick, Faze Will, Johnny Santana, Mr. Catfish 2100, Rao Chu, JB, Mr. Catfish 2100 again, and Mr. Catfish 2100 again, Mr. Catfish 2100 again, and Crazy Horse and Stop Sniffing Kids Joe, Ed, oh my gosh, Mr. Catfish 2100, JB Ninja, Lord McCormick, Rao Chu, Matthias, Ed again, Randy Allen, Matthias again. Thank you all for all your love and support, everybody. I also want to thank JB again, Donna Fitzpatrick, Andrew Hessing, and then we've got Daryl. And starting out the super chats tonight, would you look at that? It's our own very own Shelley Montgomery. Thank you very much. Remember, if you haven't given it a subscribe yet, please do, folks. We'd appreciate it. If you've watched us so long, hopefully you're subscribing. If you haven't given us a thumbs up yet, freaking punch it for us. If you need to give us a thumbs down, well, go ahead and do it, but at least tell us what we can do to improve our broadcast. Not only that, do I want to go ahead and thank our friends in the where's it at? In the back, in the chat. I need to go ahead and find the chat. Where did I hide it? Here it is. Then let me go ahead and bring up a list. And who is still out in the chat right now? Gonna call your name if you're there. So here we go, folks. Say something in the chat if you want to be seen, if you want to be heard. This is a long one. Let's get to it. Let's welcome let's thank Ann Joanne for coming out, along with Albert Xavier. AR12 has been here, along with Brian Pemble. The attorney to the EBEs has been watching, stealthily in the back. Let's go ahead and thank Brains, Charlie Identified, Clear Glass Studios, Country Carpenter, Corporal Abe, Craig, Crazy Horse, Croc Flops just popped in. Charlie Unidentified just popped up as well. We also have Craig, Crazy Horse. There we go. Crossroad Info, Daniel Mark, Darren Richards. Daryl's been here, along with Dead Inside 6-something, Delta Echo. Dewey Rodriguez has been here, along with Digger Dog, Donna Fitzpatrick, Drone Shots. Hey, Drone Shots is here. How about that? Ed, Eli McGinnis, Ernie. I'll leave you at Ernie. Faye Emily, Fairy Girl's been around. Firefly, Firestorm, Frankie Elliott, there we go. Gene Splice, Geraldine, Green Tea with Lemon, Griff, Highlander, Holsey 0815, Heiser Soze, Ian Harden, Invisible Tracker, JB, Jamie Tan, Jason Brown. Thank you all for coming out tonight. Well, I'm only up to the J's yet. J-Cat, Jen G, Jimmy Schmidt, Joey Stoner, John Mooner, John Smith, Jonathan Horvat, Johnny UFO, King Bull. Thank you for being here, King Bull. Clicker is still hanging out, along with Lynn 60. Madness has been here, along with Magic Mulder, Marcus and the Mandels, Mia Luna, Mike, Mr. Joey B, Ms. Cussout, Pete Liebel, as always, Faze Will. Thank you again for that wonderful super chat, my friend. Also want to go ahead and thank Pink Witchy 50, Raul, Rollins, Rough Ready, Sam. Thank you very, very much, Sam. Appreciate that. Look at that. We all people still subscribing. I greatly appreciate that. Also want to thank Raul Rollins, Rough Ready, Sam, Sarah Maddie. Thank you very much, Sarah. Scotty Gesso, Sino, Smurfy, Sprightly Sprites, Gemstone, Crystal, Mineral Magic. That's a name. Stephen Forbes, Take a Hike. Tamisha Bertrand, two different people. Taryn Spruce, TNVR HMD. We got Tony T, Toxic Revenger, Two Head 666V, Wesley Sissons, Yankee 58. Someone ending in 9999, Yuck Otot. I don't know. Figure out that one another night. Yellow Tommy Tanker, also known as Andy, and Nebula Dust 1018. Wow, that is a long list, Mike. Also, then, I want to thank the people who have been in the back tonight and part of the conversation, asking some great questions. That would be Cosmo. Thanks for coming out tonight, Cosmo.
Thanks, Thomas. Appreciate your commitment to the cause, and it was a great show.
Thank you, sir. Corporal Abe, thanks for being here.
Another excellent show, Thomas. Thanks for all your hard work, Mike, ET community, all the people out in the chat. Happy holidays.
Yeah. Hollywood Herald, thanks for being here.
Not a problem, Thomas. I'll probably be regular here, man.
Excellent. Kenneth Anderson, thank you for the question. Kron is here, but he's just kind of creepy, so thanks for being here, Kron.
Thank you for an excellent production, Mike and Thomas.
Thank you, sir. Also want to go ahead and thank Ms. Cussout. Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you, Thomas. Another great show tonight.
Absolutely. None of your business. Thanks for your questions.
You're most welcome. Good show, Thomas. Good show.
Thank you, Rick Roberts. Appreciate it, my friend.
Thanks for the probing.
Absolutely, every time. I guess we'll be back again tomorrow. We'll see. Also want to thank Sarah. Keep it pouring, my friend.
A good show tonight, Thomas.
Thank you. And Tia Loreno. Appreciate it.
Always a pleasure, Thomas. Always a pleasure.
Oh, wow, wow, wow. Thank you for coming out tonight. And that takes us back to our dear friend, Mike, Disclosure. Thanks for hanging out, making this happen.
It's my pleasure. We are trying to do our best to bring the truth out to the audience and cover it every day so that people are aware, because obviously they're not getting information from our government. So
yeah.
That's why we're here doing this.
Yep. Oh, absolutely, Mike. It's one of those things sometimes you just can't avoid. And oh my gosh, Mike, in last minute late breaking news, we have a statement coming in from the Department of Defense. You see nothing, you hear nothing, they are nothing. Thank you, Susan Goff. Appreciate
Say nothing.
That. Yes. On that
Susan
note, as we usually
like a cough. Yep.
Oh, there we go. And as we usually say at the end of every episode of Disclosure tonight, eyes open, no fear, be safe, everyone. But
go back to Party City where you belong.
Absolutely. We'll catch you on the flip side. Good night, everybody. Y'all come back now. Here, take care. Bye-bye.